Hello folks, it dawned on me the other day that I've had my little Tesla Model 3 Highland for 6 months now, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to check in with you and tell you about the things that I've come to love and one or two things that I've come to hate. We'll also touch on things like insurance costs, running costs, all that kind of stuff. It's all real world and it's all completely unbiased, all right? And I've got to thank 3W Floor Mats for sponsoring today's video. So why did I choose the Model 3 Highland? Firstly, I get that they're not for everyone. I get that for some people they think it's some sort of political statement. I get that some people don't like the minimalist interior. They don't like the fact they haven't put an indicator stalk on there, which is odd, and all those kind of things. For me, I think the Tesla Model 3 Highland is one of the best electric cars I've driven. I wanted an electric car because for long periods of time, the car's standing up, so I only tend to use this if I haven't got a press car in. The Model Y is usually our family car, so this tends to be the one that I only use if I haven't got anything in for review. And that generally means I'm using it for either really short trips or very long ones, and not usually those in betweens, which is an odd thing. But for example, I've got this charged up to 100% at the moment because I'm going up to Coventry for a drive day in the morning, and I actually plugged it in a day early, but there you go, I am an idiot after all. But that's the kind of trip I'm going to do. I'm just outside Bournemouth, I'm going to Coventry and back, and I want to publicly charge for as little as possible because it's expensive, and you know, why would I do that when I can charge at home for 8.5p a kilowatt hour? So on that front, we'll look at the running costs first. I've done about 4,000 miles in this car to date. It averages out, let's see what it averages out. I've actually, folks, done 3,753 miles in the car, and you'll see I've got 193 watt hours per mile during that time. In English, that translates to 5.15 miles per kilowatt hour. And a kilowatt hour costs me 8.5p when I can charge from home overnight. I've had no servicing costs on the car, obviously no tyres, anything like that. It speaks for itself as a 6-month-old car. So that's been pretty cheap. The car insurance on it for me is about 600 quid, but I was a company car driver for years and then a name driver on my wife's policy. A couple of times I had an insurance policy but didn't run for a full year because I got rid of the car. So yeah, I've only got 1 year's no claims bonus in my own name, and the rest of it is kind of an introductory discount. But still, I'm paying about 600 quid, I think it's 630 quid for the Tesla Model 3, somewhere in that region anyway, which I don't think is terrible for a £40,000 car that can do 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds. And I've got business use on it, and I'm a director of a media business, which is not particularly low risk for an insurance company. Today's video is being sponsored by 3W Floor Mats. They make perfect fit mats for a number of makes and model of cars. A while ago, they sent me a set of mats for my 2023 Tesla Model Y, and I'm going to show you just how easy they are to clean in this little clip. Now you can see that this mat's pretty grim, but because they're perfect fit, it stops all that crud going underneath and getting in the carpet. Let's give them a quick once over and see how they turn out. Now you could choose to use a jet wash or a hose on the mats, but in this case I thought I'd just give them a wipe down and a little bit of a vacuum. You can see here the benefits of those perfect fit mats, just how much they collect. I live near the beach and we've always got a load of sand in the car, and here you can see our hero in action cleaning those car mats with a damp cloth. 30 seconds later, and we've got what appears to be a brand new floor mat again. That's going to go straight back into the Tesla and again protect that carpet and keep the car looking nice. So easy to clean. As I said, you could have jet washed it, you could have just stuck a hose over it. I didn't need to today, it's not a very nice day, so a quick wipe over, a little bit of a hoover, and it looks good as new again. If you want to get yourself a set of these mats, between September the 9th and the 30th, 3W are holding their brand event, and that means if you hop onto their website and use my code 20notaguru, you're going to save 20% on their already low prices. Links in the video description, and there's a QR code popping up on the screen somewhere, so go and check them out right now. By the way, they're also sending me a set of mats for my friend's 2025 Tesla Model Y Juniper, and there's a full video coming on that very soon. In terms of the overall performance of the car, firstly, I've got to say I haven't got any rattles or anything. You know, people always used to report like rattles after 3 months or something in Teslas. I haven't got any in this at all. And the build quality feels like it's very, very robust. I obviously did a different video where I showed you the windscreen reflections and the 30 quid I spent dealing with the windscreen reflections. I've used the car a lot since I made that video, and have to say that what I've done has more or less completely got rid of the problem. I just don't ever notice it now, which is the absolute goal of that little task I carried out with the car. Annoying that I had to do it, but I did because it bothered me, and it's done now. Great. As far as the acceleration, the handling, the manoeuvrability, all of that goes, I just cannot fault it. I really can't. It's such a well sorted chassis, and it's such an easy car to drive. I took my daughter and some friends up to London yesterday on a shopping trip. For 4 12-year-old girls in the car. My ears are still ringing, to be quite honest. And it was a piece of cake. Like, the journey there, the journey back, just so easy. When you need to buy something on a motorway, you can just do it. It cruises very nicely. You've got obviously the autopilot, which basically is radar cruise control or lidar cruise control, whatever it is in this car. But you just stick that on and it's a piece of cake. It really is. It's also got a nice feature where it will track average speed in average speed zones. It doesn't do it in all of them, but in some it certainly detects that it's an average speed zone, and it will tell you what your average speed has been, which could be quite useful. So those times when you sometimes are not aware if you've just drifted off for a second and you've gone over and, oh, how's it going to work out? Well, the car's doing that for you. In general, I think the sat-nav and infotainment system is brilliant. It's really annoying that you have to pay a tenner a month for the premium subscription, which gives you access to some of the apps and obviously gives it its own Wi-Fi connection and all that. And the number of software updates the car gets also is mind-blowing. You know, sometimes it's like one a week, and you don't always know what they're doing, but they are always looking to add features. Even on our Model Y now, that's been out for a little while, always features being added to the car and improvements coming to the car. One slightly annoying thing though is the sat-nav, which occasionally seems to want to take you some weird way. Or like yesterday, it was desperate for me to come home via the M4 and the M25, and I was basically at Shepherd's Bush at the Westfield there, and I thought, actually at this time of day it's going to be far easier to go along the M3 and just stay on the M3. And I actually let the sat-nav do its own thing, and it gave me an ETA for home. I then basically put in a waypoint so it would take me via the M3, and it was like 4 minutes quicker to go via the M3, yet still it wanted me to go the other way. And I've looked at the various settings and things, and there's nothing in there that should suggest that I really wanted to go the other way, or that it should be forcing me the other way. So that's odd, and I've just had a couple of times when it's been a little bit quirky, but literally twice I think I can think of, one of which was a pain in the bum, the other one wasn't. But yeah, I feel like they could do a little bit of work to improve the kind of navigation side of things, maybe, but I might just be ultra sensitive or ultra picky, or I've just happened to hit it with a couple of sets of circumstances that are fairly unique. I don't know. Not having Apple CarPlay is only a pain in the bum if you use Waze, really, because you'd have to use Waze via Bluetooth and then you're taken away from the system. But certainly if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you've got Apple Podcasts, Apple Music, all nicely integrated. You've also got Spotify integrated, if that's something you're into. So for me, it's still one of the best infotainment systems out there. I think there'll be a video coming up soonish, which will be a CarPlay unit for this. I'm just waiting for details on that at the moment. So when it comes to charging and I suppose range reality, when you've got the car charged to 100%, it says 272 miles of range, which I think is the EPA figure for the car rather than the WLTP figure. And that seems pretty accurate to me. I drove, let me just see how far it is, but I drove to Westfield and back yesterday. From my house it's 96 miles each way, and I got home with 82 miles of range left in the car. So again, you can do the maths on that, but it's not a million miles away, is it? And obviously that's all motorway driving as well. It's not the round town stuff where you'd expect the EV to perform better than on a motorway run. And I wasn't breaking any land speed records or anything, but we had the wipers going, we had the aircon on, we had the karaoke on. Oh, I'm getting flashbacks. And I think the car was very, very efficient. Had I needed to have charged, I could have plugged in at fleet services either way, or indeed at Westfield itself. I didn't need to, but I did have a look at the chargers in all three of those locations, and the most cars I saw in any of them were 3, and we had at least 5 bays available in the 2 fleet locations, and more than that at Westfield. I'm not sure how many they've got at Westfield, but it looked like they had quite a few. So no problems with that. When I have need to supercharge, I've never waited for a supercharger, and I've generally only ever supercharged for about 10 minutes, because I only ever want to be there for as long as it takes me to have a wee. I don't want to ever stop to charge the car, and I've never needed to, and that's God's honest truth. The Tesla chargers are always some of the cheapest. If you get a V4 charger, they're really, really fast, but even the older ones are really fast. In terms of the practicality, obviously you haven't got a hatchback boot. It's more like a saloon boot, but it goes back a country mile. And you've also got the frunk, which is pretty decent. It would be better if it had a hatchback boot, because it would mean you could put taller items in there, but it's cavernous. And you've got that underfloor storage as well, so there's always the option of pulling the floor out or moving it back. And if your bigger item, your taller item fits, if it's possible, you know, you might be able to get it in by using that underfloor space as well. But yeah, it's massively practical. You know, I had 4 passengers in here and my fat self yesterday, and everyone was comfortable, no problems with it at all. They weren't all full-grown adults, but you know, a couple of the girls are not far off, and it was completely fine, like completely fine. I love having the 2 wireless chargers up the front. They always work with absolutely no fuss whatsoever. And you can't say that about wireless chargers in every car, I have to say. And it's an absolute doddle to park, because you've got cameras everywhere, you've got good visibility generally, and you'll have no problems parking the car. It's nice and manoeuvrable as well. So there's a lot to like about it. So what don't I like? Well, you might not know this about me, but I've got pretty bad knees. Years spent playing football and a long history of certain conditions in my family mean my knees are like the knees of an 80-year-old man, and they're not great. And I've got arthritis in them, and I've had some surgeries and stuff, and I dare say I've got more of that ahead of me. But I've been getting some real pain in my right knee when I've been doing long journeys in this car, and I only get it in this car. Having said that, every other car I drive over a long distance seems to be an SUV. And obviously this is more of a saloon kind of car, so you're sitting a bit lower and flatter than if you're in an SUV, where you sit a bit more like you're in a chair, don't you? And that could be the contributing factor. It might not be this car, it might be the seating position and my personal physiological defects, if you like. But to me, the seat could come out a bit further. I mean, I'm not very tall, but it's not the longest seat in the world, and there's not a great deal of manoeuvrability in terms of making it do that, to bring the front up a bit more. So I feel like if I had a bit more support under the thigh, or I could raise the front of the seat a bit more, it might actually help support that and not put so much strain on my pretty broken knee. But let me know in the comments if that's something you've suffered with. You might even have knee problems yourself and you've had the same thing or nothing. Or you might have no knee problems and you've had the same thing or nothing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And aside from that, I don't think there's anything else I don't like about this car. It's great, really. The app, like the Tesla app, is still the best in the business. It never falls over. It always connects. You use it as your key. You can plumb in your sat-nav locations really easily. Obviously, it can put supercharger stops into that automatically for you. The way that all the software and the tech syncs together so seamlessly is, I don't know, without challenge, I feel, at the moment. It just works flawlessly. And that, to me, is like a big sort of overarching story of this car. It just does what it's supposed to. And it's all a bit effortless. And there's something really likeable about that. Something that's just effortless and just does what it's supposed to. And I'm really enjoying the car. I've only got this for another 18 months on my lease. And I already know I'm going to miss it when it's gone, because I'm sure I won't have enough money to replace it with another one. And there's no way I'm getting another one for a tenner a month. So, yeah, I feel like I'm really going to miss this car when it's gone. But for the moment, I'm going to continue to enjoy it. As I said, I've often got a press car in for review. And when I've got one in for review, I want to drive that as much as humanly possible. So it means this one stands up for a little bit. But when I do get opportunities to drive it, I'm going to enjoy every one of them. And thanks again to all those people that used my referral link. It made this possible. I still can't quite believe it every month when I get an email saying we're going to deposit £10.16 from your account for your £40,000 car. It beggars belief a bit, really, doesn't it? These car mats, by the way, you know I'm sponsored in this video. They are the absolute mustard. They really are. So go and check them out. The link's in the video description. The QR code's popping up on the screen for you. Remember, at the moment, it's a particularly good time to get yourself a set. And as you know, I don't promote a load of old tut on this channel. I promote things that I believe in. So go and check that out. Thanks ever so much for watching this one, folks. I hope some of you have found it useful or interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've got a Model 3, particularly a Model 3 Highland, how you feel about the car, any problems you've had with yours, anything that you particularly love or dislike about yours. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.